Hi there, this is Solitary Ronan from Solitary Ronan Films, and welcome to another episode of my Consecutive Criterions, where I go through my Criterion collection and pick out consecutive spine numbers of more than 3 in a row. So today I've got 3. Next episode I'll have 5 in a row. But if I had one more title, I would have had like 8 in a row, or 9 in a row even. So we're going to talk about spine number 955, 956 and 957. Again, I'm not going to talk in length about these films, but again, you can let me know if you've seen them or whether you have them in your own version of your Criterion collection. So number 955 is from 1946, and it's from France, and it's Panique, directed by Julien Duvivier, starring Michelle Simone and Vivian Romance, which isn't, no doubt, the proper way to actually pronounce her name. Based on a novel, Mr. Ear's Engagement by Georges Simeon, who is more famous for writing detective stories. And this is really a film about mob mentality, especially post-war mob mentality, but also really during the war. But fortunately, we don't have mob rule or mob mentality anymore, so like so many films from the 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s, they're completely irrelevant, not really. So as always with Criterion, you do get the booklet as well as a disc, which is quite handy. So this is a 2K restoration, The Art of Subtitling, a new short documentary by Bruce Goldstein about the history of subtitles. Yes, Criterion pulls out all the stops. There's a new interview with author Pierre Simeon, the son of novelist Georges Simeon. There's a conversation from 2015 between critics Guillemette Oncicino and Eric Libier about director Julien Duvivier and the film's production history. There's a trailer, and it's a new subtitled translation. Again, Michelle Simone also did lots of kind of humorous roles and played kind of jolly characters, but this is a little bit more serious. He is a man who's kind of a bit of a loner, not that social, but he takes a shine to Vivian Romance, who's new to the town, but unfortunately a woman gets murdered, and because he is the kind of man who sort of sticks out in small towns, he's not married, he doesn't have children, he has a bit of an ego, he is kind of pointed out as perhaps being a suspect, and as with all these things in mob culture and mob mentality, it kind of snowballs. It's a wonderful little film. I guess it is on that borderline of noir. It is black and white, and it's just a lovely little film. I mean, I'm not really familiar with Duvivier as a filmmaker, but this one is really economic. There's not a lot of waste in its 98-minute runtime, and it's a great performance by Michelle Simon. As with Criterion Collection, one spine number can be vastly different from its neighbour. So 956 is Abbas Kiarostami's last film, 24 Frames from 2017. This is, or was, my first Kiarostami film. I'm not that well versed on his work. Subsequently I did get A Taste of Cherry, which is in the Criterion as well. And that's a really excellent film. This one is fairly, not necessarily experimental, but it's basically Kiarostami giving us photographs, and then a few seconds before and after the photograph is taken, in little 4.5 minute chunks. It's a film that is watchable and beautiful, and very kind of therapeutic in its own strange way. Is it a film that I would re-watch lots of times? Probably not, but it's certainly a fascinating experiment, if you like. This is a 2K master. There's an interview with Abbas Kiarostami. There's an interview with Ahmad Kiarostami, Abbas Kiarostami's son, who helped finish the film after his father died. There's a new conversation between film scholar Jamshid Akrami and film critic Godfrey Cheshire. And there's a new short documentary about the making of film by Abbas Kiarostami collaborator Salma Monjesideh. Lots of fun names to screw up today. So that's 24 frames. I should say the first two are Region B, and number 957 is Region A, but I think there is a Region B release of it now, even though that might be complete nonsense. This is Elaine, Mays, Mikey and Nikki, starring Peter Falk and John Cassavetes, and also co-starring everybody's favourite character actor Ned Beatty. Written and directed by Elaine May, as I said, who made some great films, was kind of a pioneer before Ishtar happened. And we all need to boo Warren Beatty because Indicator were going to release Ishtar, and then Warren Beatty pretty much shut them down. This is from 1976. It's 106 minutes, and it's about kind of two small-time crooks played by Cassavetes and Falk, and their relationship as one of them has to do something that the other one might not like. It is very I'd say it's very messy, but that's not necessarily a criticism. It's full of kind of chaotic energy that comes from the two leads. It's got crackling dialogue. I do think it's perhaps slightly overrated, but it is one of the really good films, American films of the 70s, that doesn't really get talked about. The same way something like A New Leaf by Elaine May doesn't really get talked about, with Walter Matthau. That's fantastic as well. But again, seeing Peter Falk not as Columbo is always enjoyable. And obviously Cassavetes, who again I'm not a huge expert on his directorial stuff. I've still to really catch up with Cassavetes, but certainly as an actor there's always a furious energy about his performance, an intensity that not a lot of other actors can produce. So this is a 4K digital transfer supervised by Elaine May, and there's a new piece on the making of the film featuring interviews with distributor Julian Schlossberg and actor Joyce Van Patten. There's interviews with critics Richard Brody and Carrie Rickey, and there's an audio interview from 1976 with Peter Falk, and a trailer and a TV spot, plus there's an essay by Nathan Rabin in the booklet. So once again, Criterion with a trio of films that are somewhat different from each other. So that's 955, 956 and 957, and then we'll miss out 958 because I don't have it, and then there's a little run from 959 onwards which will be in the next episode. So thanks so much for watching another episode of my Consecutive Criterions. We're getting through them, so please let me know if you've seen these films, and as I say, whether they're in your own personal Criterion collection, and hopefully you'll join me again for the next episode with its whopping 5 film run. So this is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, saying farewell.